Welcome back. I would like to talk today about social media in general. Last week I talked about the idea of when we put videos on social media, how can we identify those videos to more effectively share and to more effectively start discussion about best practices and activities to use to teach certain concepts and standards and whys and et cetera. Um, which has led to some other discussions via Voxer and some others privately about the whole use of social media as, in many ways, professional development. And is that the best approach, or is it as effective as we think it is? And I'm going to speak a little. I think by social media, I'm thinking mostly of Twitter, but I think it applies to all social media. So the pros I think that are advantageous to using this as a way of professional development is it's a great networking. You know, people from Saudi Arabia that you would have never met before, or someone that lives, 3 miles from you that you would have never met before. So that networking, I think, is valuable. And idea sharing, I think, is valuable as well. I think it's something that we should be doing, and it's a great way to share ideas. But I think when we share those ideas and we look for ideas, the ideas that we share need to have a purpose, and the quote-unquote search needs to have a purpose. What am I looking for? I'm not just looking for another activity. I'm looking for activity to do this, or I'm looking for someone that has a common philosophy, or I'm looking for someone to push my thinking, those types of things. So I think that those are the pros, and there are others, and I'd like to hear what your other benefits are as well. Here are what my concerns are. And I've said this a long time ago. I wrote a blog called Twitter is Dumb, and that was my first reaction to Twitter. And I don't think it is. I think there's some value, but the lack of vetting, lack of refereeing. I love the open manner of sharing in on social media, but we need some type of accountability. And some of you are probably maybe not aware of what goes on when you publish in a journal. Shane Pill just did a great job talking about this on one of Run Your Life podcast by Andy Vasily. But the process involves me writing something, sending it to a journal. The journal sends it off to someone else that I don't know, and they don't know who I am, that reviews it and sends it back to the journal and says yes or no, or gives me ideas and review. And then I have a decision whether I want to try and fix those, or if I have to go to some other outlet, or I just scrap the idea and move to something else. And this is for research, etc. So again, that's a simplification of it. But it can be grueling and exhausting, and it can be a process that takes a long time. This blog, for example, is done. The reason I did that, and if you read or listened to the first one, is I want to share my ideas. But if you just listen to my ideas without any critical thinking, that's dangerous. And just like taking any activity without weighing its value. And I'll be honest, I wonder when somebody tweets back and says, "Oh, I'm going to use this tomorrow in my lessons." What were you planning tomorrow? And does it fit with that? And so these are just some concerns. And I like the idea of us being able to connect and share with other teachers. But I wonder, are we really pushing everyone forward? Is it just in our own little world that we're pushing forward in this echo chamber that is social media? Some of you aren't young enough or old enough to remember, but when I was teaching, I was involved in several listservs, and I got very frustrated because the listservs were just, 101 things to do with a polyspot, or what are the rules to this game, and again, they're all just modified, so just make up your own rules, and that was frustrating for me. There was no deep looking at how we're teaching and why we're teaching, and I will say again, I think social media has helped me realize that you can do that, but is that really pushing the field? Not just our own individually, but in the field, is that pushing it forward? So in response to this, I'm not looking for responses that justify the use of Twitter. I get it. I understand it's a great resource. I think it has its benefits. I'd like to hear your ideas of how we can use Twitter to make it better. Is vetting one of those things? Holding each other accountable without making each other mad, and how do we do that? Those are the types of things I think we need to address. And again, this is just what I'm thinking, and I would love to hear what you're thinking. Thrive.